Hi and welcome to your 5th video workout, Influence. So influence is critically important to anyone who wants to achieve and succeed. So why is influence so important though? Why do we need to prove our mission to other people? Well, it's interesting because we all experience the world through our senses, as we already mentioned. Visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory and gustatory stimulus, okay? So people will experience what you believe in and what you want to achieve in different ways, but we've got to make a connection with everyone so they believe in what you believe. So if you take a Martin Luther King as an example, or a Gandhi, these were people who really had a passion and a belief about something particular, and they valued it. But you've got to make it resonate with people. So adding value to what you do is critically important. So what is a value? Well, a value is something that really resonates from the heart, okay? So if you're going to achieve a mission, you've got to be passionate about it, and your passion has to add value to yourself, the environment, to other people, to society, if you like. So lots of organizations and individuals who are successful have a set of values that they live and breathe to. So some values that you may have around relationships might be honesty and trust. These are critically important to long-lasting relationships, I'm sure you'll agree. However, what's interesting is that your version of trust might be slightly different to my version of trust in terms of how we act and behave to get there, okay? So it's critically important that we relate our framed questions to understanding what people's values are. And once you get some synergy on your values and some traction, people buy you, okay? So when we're talking about your product or service, think about 3 critical values that uphold your mission. So for me, freedom is a very important value. It allows me to express myself and be creative, no restrictions. Quality is also important to me because it's a standard and I don't accept second best. And then knowledge and wisdom. In order to be able to do this sort of activity, I need to have the awareness, the knowledge, and the ability to support your learning. These are 3 of the foundations of my business. But what about yours? So again, spend some time thinking about the values that you possess and link them to your business, and think about how you can advertise those, not only to yourself, but in your marketing and your PR, and to your clients and your colleagues. So now you understand the importance of values and how they can influence people's behaviour and buy into your mission. Let's look at something else that's really critically important to influence. There are characters that you will meet in your journey of trying to achieve. And although there's 8 billion people on the planet, roughly, what I want to do is create a massive generalisation. And this generalisation means that actually those 8 billion people fall into 4 categories. Utterly ridiculous, I know, but because we generalize, it helps us to make sense of relationships. And this is a very powerful technique to initially engage with people. So these 4 types of characters that I'll introduce you to are quite straightforward to understand. First of all, you have the captain. Now these individuals are drivers in business. You'll find them in the boardroom achieving. Their values are things like success, status. When they're really helpful and resourceful, you're inspired by them. They're the sort of Alan Sugars of this world that you think, wow, I wish I could achieve what they achieve. But be very careful, because on the wrong side, they can be a bit bullish and a bit direct, so you can be quite hurt by them. The next character, the jester, the Russell Brands, Joe Brands of this world, if you like. Creative, flamboyant, colourful characters. The downside of a jester can sometimes be disorganised and a bit cluttered, so it could be frustrating for someone who's not like that. But again, they're really good in networking and selling and marketing. The third type is the nurse, the carer, the connector, if you like. Really great for leading teams because people tend to work with them and for them rather than against them. The Mother Teresas of this world, if you like. Very compassionate and engaging, but quite often one of the downsides of being a nurse or knowing a nurse is they don't look after themselves often enough. It's always about other people. And then we've got the final hat, the bowler hat. This personality is a bit like a Gordon Brown, if you like, a Steve Jobs to a degree, where they're process orientated. They're very linear in their thinking. Remember the left-hand side of the brain? That's their preference. So quite often they can be quite introverted and quite dry, but they're fantastic to get these characters more organised and structured. So how does this help you? Well, when you start to meet people, we all wear these types of characteristics, or hats, if you like. We'll all have a captain's hat, a jester's hat, a nurse's hat and a bowler's hat. But what's the preference and what's the priority? So some people in certain situations may be high-level jester-type characters, gregarious, flamboyant, easy to get on with. But then when you get to know them, the second hat they might have is a prominent captain. They're very direct, they know what they want, they're quite astute. And then the next hat might be the bowler hat, and they're quite organised, not as much as they could be, but you get a gist that they're reliable. And then finally, it could be the captain. Funny enough, they're not particularly warm and rational. So when you meet the next person that you come into contact with, think about utilising these personality types, these hats, if you like. Because once you establish that massive generalisation, that is, these are the types of hats that they wear in this order with me at this time, you can start building better communication and influence them accordingly. Because a jester, for example, would be really engaged with understanding what you're selling and how to be liked and popular. A captain would be about outcomes and winning and achieving. A bowler hat would be about structure and process and results. And the nurse would be about teams and other people. Talk their language, not just yours, because that's where influence really works.